Love in the Shadows, a tale of terror and devotion. James and Jennifer had been inseparable since their college days, their bond unshakable. One crisp autumn evening, they ventured to an abandoned amusement park on the outskirts of town. James thought it would be a thrilling adventure, Jennifer agreed, though unease prickled at her senses as they stepped onto the creaking grounds. The place was cloaked in silence, save for the occasional rustle of leaves in the wind. The broken-down Ferris wheel loomed like a skeletal sentinel, and the faded carousel horses seemed frozen in terror. "This is kind of romantic, right?" James joked, his flashlight sweeping across the cracked pavement. Jennifer laughed nervously. "Romantic if you like haunted vibes." Their laughter echoed eerily. Suddenly, a faint giggle responded. Both froze. "Did you hear that?" Jennifer whispered, her grip tightening on James's arm. Before James could answer, the giggle transformed into a guttural moan. Shadows began shifting unnaturally around them. "Who's there?" James called out, his voice trembling. The reply came as a chorus of whispers, unintelligible but filled with malice. The flashlight flickered, and when the beam steadied, they saw them, figures emerging from the darkness. Human-like, but wrong. Their limbs were too long, their faces featureless voids. "Run!" They sprinted through the park, dodging rusted rides and debris, the creatures closing in. Jennifer tripped, scraping her knee. James helped her up, but one of the beings was almost upon them. Its claw-like appendage swiped, missing Jennifer's face by inches. They ducked into a decrepit funhouse, the maze of mirrors distorting their reflections. The creatures followed, their inhuman forms stretching grotesquely in the glass. "James," Jennifer whispered, tears streaming, "I'm scared." He cupped her face. "We'll get out of this. I won't let anything happen to you." Their moment was interrupted as one creature lunged, shattering a mirror. James grabbed a broken shard and stabbed the creature's voided face. It shrieked, black ooze spilling out, but more were coming. Spotting an emergency exit, Jennifer dragged James toward it. They burst outside, the cold night air hitting them like a slap. The creatures didn't follow. Instead, they stood at the funhouse entrance, their dark forms melting back into the shadows. Panting, James and Jennifer collapsed onto the ground, holding each other tightly. "What were those things?" Jennifer asked. "I don't know," James said, his voice shaking. "But they didn't want us leaving together." Jennifer frowned. "Together?" James's face turned pale. She followed his gaze to see a shadowy figure standing a few feet away. It held up something glinting in the moonlight, her necklace, which had been ripped off earlier. Jennifer's blood ran cold. "James? I didn't drop that." Before either could react, the figure raised its clawed hand. The shadows around them surged like a living tide, swallowing them whole. Jennifer screamed, but her voice was muffled as the darkness closed in. In an instant, the world was silent. When the townspeople discovered the amusement park the next day, there was no sign of James or Jennifer. Only their flashlight lay on the ground, still flickering weakly, its beam illuminating a single message scratched into the pavement: "Help us. They need love to feed."